Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Good Critic, Bad Critic. I am here with the two jabronis to my right on the screen, and we have watched Your Name, which is a 2016 film, anime film. It is directed by, you're going to hear this name quite a bit here,
Makoto Shinkai.
Makoto Shinkai, written by Makoto Shinkai. The cinematography by Makoto Shinkai, edited by Makoto Shinkai, so he basically did almost everything except the voice acting here. So, cast. I probably should preface this by saying we watched the English dubbed version
Yes.
of this.
I watched the Japanese,
Um,
but yeah,
you did?
I did, yeah, because the dub wasn't working on Crunchyroll for some
Oh,
odd
okay.
reason, so I watched it in Japanese.
I'm actually
I've
I'll
watched both
continue
of
with
those.
with these stats in a little just to mention, but I feel like I should have watched the Japanese version because that's the
Yeah,
way it's kind of intended, you know. But
Yeah,
Japanese voice cast here. I'm going to butcher these names. Japan,
I wouldn't even
I am
try the
sorry.
Japanese
yeah, yeah.
names.
I am sorry.
I
Mr.
was.
Kamiki is one of them, and then Monet
I
Kamishiraishi.
think. I
God
think,
damn it.
Brian, for this one, I think we'll forgive you for not doing the voice actors because
Yes,
me and you didn't watch that. I think for once we can skip
Yeah, but
over it.
they're the two. I mean, it's the movie's about the
But
two main characters.
yeah, it's the
So
two. It's
I
the
want to
two
give
main.
the Japanese since Quentin watched it. Yeah, give the Japanese voice actors a shout out. The English voice cast was Michael. Even these names are hard. Michael Sinter Nicholas and Stephanie Sheh. Anyway, but the main characters were named Taki Tachibana and Mitsuha Mizu. God, I'm terrible with these Japanese names. Japan, I'm very sorry. I would love to visit your country,
sorry,
and I'm sure it's
Japan.
beautiful, but I'm not good with pronouncing your names. Anyway, running time was 107 minutes. The budget was 7.5 million US dollars, and then the box office in US dollars was 405.3 million. So that is like a two.
That's
I
insane.
my math isn't very good, but that's probably like what, like 50 times, maybe 60 times what the budget was. So they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm not familiar with this director, but from the little bit that I did read about him, he is like one of the best anime creators out there. So
Yeah, I've watched. There's only one that I haven't watched, and I completely just until you said that I was like, oh shit, I haven't watched that. It's like 5 seconds till something, or 5 centimeters from time. I can't remember what the film's called, but yeah, it's fantastic. Is
yeah,
and the box office receipts.
he's already starting. He's already starting. Well, since this is Craig's pick for the week, and since this is your pick, why don't you give us a rundown of what the story's about?
Right. So this is essentially a romantic fantasy Japanese animated film. You've got your two main characters who have a body swap phenomenon, but it's not only a body swap um, against each other; it's also over the span of 3 years difference. So when they're swapping back and forward, Mitsuha is going forward 3 years in time into Taki's body, and Taki, the guy protagonist, is going back 3 years to experience their life. And initially, they just think it's dreams. They don't understand what's going on until it becomes a bit too realistic, and they leave each other messages. So in their school books, on their phone, or they write on each other's hand. So when they wake up, there's something in ink on their hand that is saying like, "Who are you?" And it's becomes this is not a dream. This is actually what is really happening between the two of these characters, and just then trying to navigate each other's lives. So like in high school, they're both high school age, so they're just trying to navigate what happens. They start affecting each other's lives because obviously they don't know the day-to-day processes of what each other person does. So Taki goes to high school. He's got a job. Um, Mitsuha goes to her own school, and she's got her own friend and their own families. They don't know how to navigate that. They go through, and then the sort of crux of the story is there is a comet which is going to hit where Mitsuha lives, and it then becomes a sort of race against the time they have, even though they're swapping before Mitsuha in the past, 3 years in the past. That will happen. That event will happen, and without any of Taki's intervention, the comet hits the town where she lives, which is in rural Japan, and it essentially kills most of the town, including her, and it becomes a romantic love story that they have to try and stop this from happening, and it goes from there. And that is essentially the build.
And there's a big love story.
Yes,
big love story.
They
That's
fall. They
main
fall.
thing.
They fall in love with each other by living each other's lives and realizing what kind of people they are, and that ultimately defines at the end like how invested each of them are into to save the other person, believing this unbelievable situation. Yeah, I fucking love this film.
Actually, it's there was one part in the movie, just for a quick piece of humor. There's a scene in there where what's the? Let me pull up the just to make sure I have the names right. Taki has to go on a date with his coworker, even though Mitsuha was the one who kind of set that up.
Yeah,
and then Mitsuha is thinking about it back in her own body, and then she starts crying. And I, at first, thought that she was upset because she wanted not to go. Not that he was on a date, but that she wanted to go on a date with her.
Wait, is that not what it was?
No, it's not what it was.
She was crying.
But at first glance, I was like, "Oh, she wants some of her."
Bro, this was so confusing beyond belief because you don't know if she's gay and is into the girl. That's literally what I thought up until this point. I thought that she was into the girl. I didn't know that it was just a friendship on her part.
No, just like she's just being a girly girl around it when, like the dress where she has to sew
Mrs.
the dress.
Osana or whatever, or what was her name?
No, okay, Dara.
Well, this movie is a fucking weird acid trip without any of the acid. I really hope you can help me like this movie, Craig.
All right. Just to give it a bit of structure, do you want to talk about what you guys don't like or don't like about the movie, or do you want to do scores first, or just both?
I'll give us Craig. What do you want us to do? I'd like to give a score.
You want to give it? Let's give it a score.
Okay. Well, have Craig start since it's his pick.
That's a good idea.
This is a.
I want to know how. This is a 10. Okay.
This is going to be an interesting.
Well, why is it a 10? Why is it a 10?
It is my favorite animated film ever. Like, for Christ's sakes, Spirited Away won Spirited Away is a Studio Ghibli film. It won the best animated film in 2001 at the Oscars. It did make more domestically in Japan as a Japanese.
I thought this film was made in 2016. That's when it dropped,
Spirited
right?
Away. Spirited Away dropped 2001. Different film. This made more than Spirited Away globally. This film it's not just me who likes it. It's so good. I couldn't believe how beautiful it was. I couldn't believe I liked the music so much. When I first watched it, it was in not the dub version. And
continue.
I'll keep it to a minimum.
Even in Japanese, even in the dub with the Japanese, the Radwimps who did the music for it. I love those songs, even in Japanese. They're just so good. The visuals on this film, they are like we're talking Melter scale here. The visuals on this film are the most gorgeous things I've ever seen in animation. It is unreal what they actually achieved. The way the comet looks, the way the landscape looks, and the trees, like the trees just blowing in the breeze, even when it's like a wide shot and you can just see them gently moving. It is just so fantastic. I have shared this with everyone that would listen, and I'm because of this privileged position, I managed to make you two watch it. And even if you don't like it, because if you can't even say the visuals are amazing for animation, especially most of it is cellular.
He's already getting defensive.
What
do you like about the story? Like, what about the story?
The story at the end, when I first watched it, I had this on Saturday night years ago, and by the end of it, after necking a few bottles, I was like, "Oh my god, turn around!" Say again.
Nothing. I was saying that helps your case.
But no, for me to be animated about, instead of just being like passively sat, I was like, "Oh my god, turn around, find each other!" I was so invested. I wanted them to find each other. Just through everything they went through, I loved everything about this film, building up to the ending, and they left you with that. They didn't have the full blown, let's go over the top. It was just that open-ended ending. They meet each other at the end, and it's just like, what next? But that's all you needed, and it's perfect. I wouldn't change anything about this film.
Did you think that the pacing of the film was perfect?
Yeah. In all fairness, yes. They don't show too much of him in her body, but I don't know if it was an intentional thing to do it or not. But apparently, they released some manga. Now, I don't read manga. I'm not a big weeb. I love Japanese stuff, but I'm not that heavy. But this film it was one of those ones that's just, it's got that X factor that it just does it for me. It really does. And I've watched this so many times, and this is going to be one of those films I'll watch when I'm, in the 70s. I'll be popping this on, and people will just be looking at me like, what the is this geriatric 70-year-old doing watching this film? I absolutely adore this film. I love the music. I love the visuals. I do love the story. I love the intrigue of it. It's so different. Yeah, body swap's been done so many times, but this is body swap over time, and there's a massive peril of this.
Did you not find that confusing at certain parts? I didn't, and this is just me speaking in terms of like, I don't know, coming into this film, they don't necessarily tell you that their bodies have swapped. You don't really know until, I don't know, 15 minutes into the movie, and then you're still questioning whether or not they have swapped bodies, because even though he has swapped bodies with her, we saw the weird boob groping scene, right? Mm-hmm. And then the very next scene, she is sitting down for breakfast, not freaking the fuck out with the grandma, and the little sister not freaking out at the fact that he's just swapped bodies with this girl. And he wasn't the one that screamed, "I wish I could be a Tokyo boy." For this guy, I would be going fucking insane. My brain would be melting.
He thinks it's
just
a dream.
Speaking for myself.
He thinks it's a dream. There's two things I actually saw off. I can't give it credit to who it was, but they brought up one of the things is where she says, "I wish I could live in Tokyo because I hate how rural it is." There is a massive problem in Japan at the moment of people leaving the rural areas because they want to go to the cities because there's jobs there, there's prospects there. That is a massive problem in Tokyo. So it's leaving the town. So the younger generation, who would be their future, is now leaving to go to the cities. So the rural areas are becoming desolate. And that's just going to become a worse and worse problem. And also, this film came out 5 years after the Fukushima disaster. And in the film, there's a 5-year gap between what happened and where Taki is. So there's the 5-year gap thing, which is reminiscent of that. I don't know if that's intentional or not. I've not heard that confirmed. But also the fact that that is what's happening. All the people who live in rural towns don't want to be there. They want to, go to the cities and where there's opportunity.
For my question though, like that didn't, when you first watched this movie, did you just know instantly, oh, their bodies are swapped? Because like I know that you do like to get into movies and kind of spoil it at times a little bit for yourself. Like that's how you enjoy watching movies at time, which to each his own. But like, did you go into this knowing the plot, or were you not confused? Like you just got it instantly? Because I felt like there needed to be some explaining, maybe in the first 20 minutes of the movie, to be like, yeah, they've definitely swapped the bodies. Instead of going to school, having breakfast with the grandma and the sister, and then just everything is normal but kind of off. Like I don't know. I'm just not buying that in that situation. Granted, it's an anime. Like I feel like you got to take a little bit of a leap of faith there, but it's just that was beyond fucking strange that this character was just like accepting of that.
I knew it was I was aware that it was a body swap film. That was it. The time thing that came with.
Is that a common thing for Japan? Because I don't think I've ever seen a body swap film.
Freaky Friday, Lindsay Lohan.
I have not seen Freaky Friday.
I think that was a remake as well.
I saw Freaky Friday, but it wasn't Lindsay Lohan. It was some other porn star.
Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis, right?
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan.
Okay, yeah, maybe I saw that when I was a kid.
Nobody laughed at that. I feel terrible.
I don't know what you said.
I said I saw another movie titled Freaky Friday, but it wasn't the same movie.
It's Pete in his last music video.
Yes! Craig with the zinger. Bing!
No, it was his last one and his last one. So, I don't know. Sorry, go on.
No, nothing. I just like, I felt like the romance was a little bit rushed at certain parts. Like for instance, like they were just leaving notes for each other, right? And then I felt like we got to a certain point in the film where he actually started to like Mrs. whatever her name is that he went on a date with. And then I was like, okay, cool. And then suddenly I felt like we kind of jumped to a scene in the movie where now he's on a train because he wants to meet this girl. And it was just, I don't know how you think that I don't know. I mean, the pacing just felt crazy to me throughout the entire part of the movie. Like the first hour felt beyond slow. And then probably the last 45 minutes of the movie, it was like my brain was just trying to catch up. It felt like I was watching the movie Tenet, Christopher Nolan, mixed in with like some weird Inception time shit, and it didn't flow well for me. Like, I don't know, maybe you just received it better, but I literally just felt like I was trying to catch up with what the fuck was going on throughout the entire film. And then trying to come up with theories, and then yeah, I don't know.
I can see what you feel. I mean, the fact that you say stuff like, there's one of the lines, 2 to 3 times a week we'll wake up and we'll be in each other's bodies. And so to me, it's like, indicate just that line itself just indicate this is going on. And they get to know each other's routines. They're leaving messages. She hooks him up on the date after, that wasn't going to be like the next week, So to me, that didn't hit for me the way it hit for you. Okay. But I totally get your point of view on that, but it didn't have that thing with me. This was just one of those lightning in a bottle films that I was hooked by like the music, just the visuals to start with. I was hooked, and then the story just
visuals are beautiful at certain points throughout the film, and some of the instrumental shit throughout the film is also amazing. But like the songs for me did not hit whatsoever, just because I didn't understand them, and for whatever reason there weren't subtitles, at least on my version for the songs. But I don't know. A lot of the times when there was singing going on, I felt like it didn't match the tone of what was happening in the movie. Like the instance when the fucking meteor is coming down and there's like some happy. My buddy Todd actually described it best. He said it sounded like there was a Phil Collins song that was playing in the background, as this meteor is fucking crashing down, or the comet's crashing down and about to kill 500 people.
That's definitely what Disney would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly if you listen to on the English version that me and King Boomer listened to, they actually sang it in English, and it's for Japanese singers is so well done because he doesn't flub the lines. There's none of that really.
I actually thought that the singing was, even though it's not my kind. I wasn't a fan of the soundtrack. It's not my kind of music, but the singing I thought was good, and I thought the music was good for people who like that kind of thing. And the singing, I wasn't even thinking like, oh, it's a bunch of Japanese guys singing this stuff. I thought it was like they hired some
An American
singer
cast
to, or something like
It's
that.
the same guy. It's the same band.
That's impressive.
And they wrote it up. They did write it all. They're a Japanese rock band. They're a legitimate band. And it's not the sort of usual thing I'd listen to, and it's not just because of the film. If I heard these songs, it's not. I've told you guys what sort of music I listen to for the most. I just thought it was really good, like just really, really good. Like it was just so poppy, like pop rock enough. And I don't mean pop in like, like really generic crap. I mean just that the pop sensibilities and melodies that just hook you in. And I've seen a video of them playing the songs live, and like they're a band. There's no bullshit around this. They're a band, and each member of the band actually made a bit of music for separate scenes. They actually took it upon themselves to concoct the music. So Japanese musicians, they do not mess around. They are so good. Like the ones that aren't like the idols, the girls in the dresses that go out and they're not even really singing and all that shit. They are so good, and that is just testament to this. Not my usual shtick at all, but I love it. And yeah, the lyrics when they sing them in English, it is like it fits the story, the narrative of the story so well as well. Anyway, that I have gushed about it. Let's
Quintano, give us a score and reasons.
I don't want to rate this movie. I'm going to give this movie a 3. I think that it had a lot of potential in the sense of I think that the writer / director, same guy, had a really cool idea. I just don't think it was executed as well as he maybe wanted it to. And that's going to be highly debatable, I think, from the sense of obviously there's a huge fan base that has a lot of love and really admires this film. But like, it just did not click for me. Like I said prior, I mean, the first 45 minutes of this film, I was just like, what the fuck am I watching right now? I didn't know what direction this film was going in. Talked a little bit about it last night, but like, there was no conflict. There was no plot. It was just like, okay, this weird thing is happening. Don't really know why, but do I really care? Like, there was nothing that was keeping me invested in the movie until we had here's some kind of, time travel-y stuff. It got interesting to me at the point where you realize that she was actually in the past. But also, I was then wondering if he was actually the father, and then this whole time warping shit ended up being like she was in the future. Like my brain just went to a lot of different places. And it was really, really hard for me to just try to latch onto the story and just enjoy it. And I think a big reason of that is just pacing of this film. I felt like it was very jumpy all throughout it. The characters, I didn't really have a real reason to care for any of these characters. You had like two high school kids that I don't really relate to in any sense. One of them's got a dad who's a mayor that's obviously in a less fortunate situation on the outskirts of Tokyo. And then you have the kid who lives in Tokyo who seems to have a relatively good life with not a lot of conflict. There was just nothing for me to bite onto, nothing for me to sink my teeth in. So I did find myself enjoying some parts of this film. For instance, the visuals. Craig, I cannot fight with you on that. I won't even try to, because this movie had some gorgeous animation.
I can fight with your
Particularly,
visuals right now.
we'll get there. We'll
No,
get
I
there.
mean your visuals on the camera. You look like
Yeah.
you're broadcasting via Mars.
Well, I'll figure that out in a second. But
I don't know what's going on with the internet over there.
the visuals in the
Sorry.
no, you're fine. The visuals in the anime, particularly the one scene where he does that. It's the best way to describe it would be maybe a mushroom or acid trip. But like that
Yeah.
whole animation was like on my TV was one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen. It was absolutely stunning. I felt like I had literally just was on my, I don't know, maybe first acid trip, and I was experiencing some crazy, profound thing. It was gorgeous. I think that the soundtrack was really good at times, not particularly the part with lyrics, but I liked a lot of the walking around. When they're walking up with the grandma, and
Piano
what's
bits.
his, yeah, and that whole little violin instrumental in the background was beautiful, very reminiscent of Avatar: The Last Airbender. That holds a very good place in my heart. But yeah, man, there wasn't a lot of sustenance, not a lot of substance for me to latch on to. I felt like by the time I figured out, okay, this is a love story, I get it now. I didn't really feel an actual connection between them besides the body swapping. I didn't see where the romance actually stepped into play in the film. I felt like it was like they understood each other, but there was, it just wasn't there. Um, then by the time we got to the end and then they look at each other, I was just like, I just don't care. um, they had showed like 3 scenes prior to them walking by each other, nothing happened, and then I'm like, okay, so it's not going to happen, it is now, it's not, now it is, and I was just like, it didn't work for me. So I'll give it a 3 out of 10. There are some really cool parts. I think that the director writer had a great idea, and it just was not well executed for my personal taste. That's my review. Muppet rating, fucking, I don't know, 7. Oh, the humor. Humor in the film I liked a lot at certain parts, especially the little sister when she'd walk
Little
into that
sister.
uncomfortable situation. And then at the
You
end of
really
the
like
movie,
your
when
boobies, don't you?
she was like, you were touching my boobies. And he's like, yeah, but just once. And like, there's funny shit like that. But there was, I'm rambling on like a maniac. But there's some over sexualized parts in this film that I don't think fit the movie at all. Um, the boob thing didn't really need to happen, and I felt like that's that weird thing that with Japanese animation they like to do. This movie I felt like would have been way better off without her running down the road and them having a perfect angle of looking at her ass in panties. That was like uncomfortable to watching a fucking movie about high school kids. Like, I was like, why do they need to do that? And then they emphasize the boob grabbing not once but 20 times. Like, that's uncomfortable for me. I don't think that needed to be added. But then again, I'm not a huge anime fan, and I know that that's something that they tend to steer towards a lot. So yeah, that's my review.
Okay.
All right.
So you haven't said anything.
It is my turn, I guess. Then is it?
It is your turn.
Okay. Look, right off the bat, I'm going to say what I like about this movie. The animation is absolutely gorgeous. I'm probably the least into anime of the 3 people here, but I have been into it at times. I'm more older stuff like Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, Gundam, stuff like that. Since I've been an adult, I haven't been much into it, but I do look back fondly on like, especially Dragon Ball Z. I really like that. It's kind of like, but this movie, Your Name, makes that look like they just drew stick figures on a piece of paper. So it's absolutely stunning and gorgeous. So the animation is top notch. Couldn't say a bad word about it. The story, I do understand the story and what they were trying to do. However, it was executed Captain Quintana said he thinks it was executed poorly. I think it was executed very poorly. This, if this was a live action movie, or if I was watching this in the theater, I would have walked out after the first 30 minutes because the first. Captain Quintana said the first 45 minutes of this film you didn't find it interesting. I didn't find the first hour and 10 minutes engaging at all. It was excruciating to watch. I was like, I would rather have on some dumb Dragon Ball Z movie than this stuff. And it's because the story, I know what the story is, and it has the potential to be a great story. And the way they executed, in my opinion, the way they executed was just dog shit awful. And for that reason, I'm giving this a 2. If the animation wasn't so good, I would give this a 1. It drives me up the wall when a film has a story where it's like almost impossible to make it confusing or fuck it up, and this film does that pretty well. It really does. And I actually found this on the Wikipedia page, and this is something that the director actually said. Makoto Shinkai. He said. And it says, despite the praise he received, Makoto Shinkai insisted that the film is not as good as it could have been. He said, in quotes, there are things we could not do. Masashi Ando, director of animation, wanted to keep working on things but had to stop because of the lack of money. For me, the film is incomplete and unbalanced. The plot is fine, but the film is not at all perfect. 2 years was not enough. That is what I would say if I was being nice about this movie.
Fair.
And that comes from the director's mouth.
That's actually insane. The writer and director, keep in mind.
Yeah.
I was wondering how he was going to receive the hype that I guess this movie got, grossing that much fucking money. I'm happy to hear that he did not think that it was finished. I'm really happy that he fucking read that.
He did not like it. Well, he did not like how overhyped it was. The problem I've got is I didn't buy into the hype. I'd heard, as we say nearly every, I say nearly every, time I choose something. I've heard it was a good, great, whatever, and I'd heard this was great. I thought, right, okay, I'll check it out, and that doesn't always go my way. That doesn't color my expectation. I just love this immediately.
It has it's had something crazy, like a 98% approval rating or something like that.
98% critics, 98%. I think it's 94, 95.
I mean, maybe that's
audience.
mainly in Japan, and I know Japan has a much different outlook on things than Western cultures do, which I totally understand. But and there's a part of me that wishes I watched this in the Japanese version instead of the English dub. Because maybe I would have appreciated what they were trying to do here. But man, when they first started off the movie, and Craig, if you hadn't have told me that this was a body swap movie, I wouldn't have known what the fuck was happening in the first 20 minutes of this movie.
100%.
They literally open up with her waking up, and then grabbing her titties, and then looking at herself in the mirror. And I immediately I was like, if I didn't know this was body swap, I would have thought that she was 10 years old and woke up as a 17-year-old or something like that. And then all of a sudden went, whoa, what's all this? Because there was no freak out, there was no shock. And then Quentin said she just went downstairs and just casually talked to the family, and so that's the confusing part is, even though I already know that it's a body swap movie, the confusing part is, well, is this the first time this has happened? Or are we opening up with a movie where this is the 12th time this has happened?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. And there's no setup we don't get to know these characters and the love story, which had the potential to be for me to be very beautiful, a very beautiful love story. But by the end of the movie, I don't know, I left the end of the movie not knowing much of anything about the two main characters at the end of the movie, and that's a big fucking problem. I probably would have liked if there was 30 to 45 minutes more where we got to know not only each character, but the characters around them and what their situations were. There was a scene in there where they had that's it. Well, they had a scene in there where I think Taki has sees flashbacks of God, I'm trying not to butcher this thing. Mitsuha. He sees
Mitsuha.
flashbacks of Mitsuha's like life and like fast forward in that one sequence, which I think is a pretty good sequence. But I would have liked to have had. There was no like build up to that. You don't know, like, you just see the one scene like with her father on the microphone, campaigning, and then he's like, "Stand up straight when you're walking by." That's all you see of him. You don't get anything other than that. Like, whoa, how come like her father is like not around and he's just on campaign, like screaming at her? Like, you don't get anything behind that. And then once you get the flashback, you're like, oh, like it would have been nice to have like hints and to like really feel, and then you start to feel for the characters more. At the end of the love story, like they come together, and I could give less than a shit about who these two people were.
100%.
It's a problem. I need to care about those characters in order to get into the love story, which it had the potential to be like amazing.
Defend your baby, Craig.
It's not the first film that's ever done that, where you get something, but then later on you realize why. That is a very common film trope.
Yeah, but if you're going to do that, do it right.
It's done terribly in this film.
There's like little to zero.
You literally open up the film. You open up the
disagree.
film in her so Taki is in her body, and if you don't know that it's a body swap film, then you don't know what the fuck's going on for the first 20 minutes. But assuming you do know, which I did, you don't know if she's based on her behavior. You don't know if he's been in her body like for the first time ever or a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of have to like put pieces together in your head to figure that shit out along the way.
I'm going to disagree with. Well, my experience, I disagree with that because they're so confused, and then they just like they're and ahhing their way around. Like when she wakes up in his body, and she doesn't know that's his dad, and he's like, "It was your turn to make breakfast today. Did you sleep in?" And she's just like uber, like everything she said. She doesn't call him dad. She doesn't assume. It's like, okay, have a nice day, and like just trying to piece it together without assuming. All right, this is my dad. Like, she doesn't know. She's a complete fish out of water. Everything Taki says he thinks it's a dream. So when
but because you're an audience member watching this, you feel like a fish left out of water. Like,
yes,
as you're watching the first 45 minutes
uninvested
of the movie.
Maybe that I will, considering that both of your experience, like you're both saying relatively the same thing. Maybe it's because I've watched so many like of the Studio Ghibli films. I have a bit more of an understanding. Like I said, I'm not massive into that. It's literally Studio Ghibli and Makoto Shinkai films that I've watched, and one or two others maybe. I'm not a big thing. I've never bought manga. Not interested. I'm not like that, but I do love these films because the animation is usually as good as Disney should be now. But Disney have just gone such a different direction. But maybe I'm a bit more used to it because there is a lot more. There's a lot more magic, for lack of a better word, because whatever you want to call it. It's
Wait, sorry, I just read Quentin's stuff. I didn't realize he typed so much bullshit.
Oh
sorry.
yeah.
That's more so
Quentin,
notes for myself so I don't forget.
So you can bring it.
Sorry. Craig, continue. Sorry.
There's a bit more magic and mythology because, like, the whole thing about the going to the shrine with the, was it Kimisaki? It's not called that. It's the rice wine, which he
Sake.
part of a. Well, sake just means alcohol. That's all sake. The word sake
No
means.
shit! I thought sake was a rice wine.
Generally it is, but it literally translates as alcohol.
Rice wine is a cooking wine as well.
What you know what hentai means? Because in the
Pervert, you told me that.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, people who create anime for some reason, and I'm gonna fucking say this boldly, they're all perverts. The way that they fucking depict children in every fucking, it's the weirdest shit in the world that I will never understand about that part of Japanese culture is how much they like to sexualize young characters in anime is fucking beyond me.
Mate, I'm British and she's 17 in this film.
Is that acceptable? An acceptable age? I don't think so.
No, it's not acceptable.
Even if it's legally
not
speaking,
morally, not morally, but
yeah.
it's 16 over here.
But does that not strike you as strange that the second it's technically legal there, they're immediately sexualizing that? Is that not weird? That's like when all the creeps on the internet and like Billie Eilish turns fucking 18 and everyone just immediately like those are creeps. Like they're like because you know they're waiting for that age. Like that's creepy as fuck, dude.
Can I tell you something?
I don't know.
Really dude, I want to tell you this story. It's not about me. Don't worry.
The artist continue. Sorry.
Is this a story that is like we're going to be able to share on this podcast?
Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. Have you heard of the Sun? It's quite a popular. So it's like the New York Times or New York Post. The tabloid. It's like a national tabloid here. It's called The Sun. It's owned by Rupert Murdoch, I think.
Okay.
There's a Welsh. I think she's like an opera singer. So like got very famous, very young. I think she was on a TV show that was like looking for an opera singer. She did that. So The Sun, they've taken the moral high ground quite a few times, which is a bit weird considering they used to have Page 3 girls. I think Brian might not have heard about them. Have you? On Page 3, if you go into Page 3 on The Sun, so if you open
am I going to go to prison if I look up Page 3 girls?
You might want to hide it from your wife.
Page 3 models, also known as Page 3 girls, will feature in the Sun newspaper that features topless women. Some notable Page 3 models include blank, blank, blank. Many of these models went off to be successful careers in other fields, including music and acting, where most of them will get taken advantage of and then become addicts later in life.
Yep, very accurate. So if you bought The Sun, which used to be like 20p, then I don't know how much it costs now. I wouldn't care to guess. You open the first page, and then, so page 2 on the back side, then page 3, you get some 22-year-old from Essex, like with just wearing panties with her tits out.
So it's a Playboy.
No, it's just that one. You know, that one page. So that's where the term comes from, Page 3 girl. So it's not very moralistic new tabloid. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. They ran this campaign where Charlotte Church, so she's Welsh, and she got married to a guy who played on the Welsh rugby national rugby team, and that's their national sport is rugby. So the sort of like the Posh and Becks of Wales, if you like, David Beckham and Posh Spice. They were like that of Wales. But before she got with him, they ran a campaign basically running down her birth, like when she was 4 weeks from her 16th birthday, saying, all right, 3 weeks away, like 2 weeks. They were
That's disgusting.
This fucking happens. Like this was like disgusting. In the 90s, late 90s. But because the legal age here for that is 16, they were running that, and then but they also then like try and take some moralistic high ground about X, Y, and Z because it's a Murdoch publication and morals, it was ambiguous as anything there. So it's not just Japan. Like we are as Britain, and I think I think every country has got some version of that.
Well, I remember like in the States, like there was. But it was getting called out as much as well. But like,
what are you doing there, Craig?
I don't know. Yeah, it looks like he's jerking off.
Cleaning my phone. Sorry, I'm cleaning my phone. The screen was a bit. I'm rubbing it.
It really looks suspect.
Yeah, sorry. I'm cleaning my phone, and apparently I'm waiting to pay for something.
He's not wanking, folks.
I was cleaning my. I just looked at it. I was like, that's grubby.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian.
But it's okay, because I was about to stop, too.
I apologize to the viewers and my two co-hosts.
All this talking about Page 3 really got Craig going. Fuck, man. Brought him back to the younger days.
It's the fact that she wasn't... No, I'm not saying that.
But no,
I'm not saying that.
He was saying like every country's done it in some way. I think the one I remember the most in the States was, even though it was a British actress, but and I can't remember the actress's name, but the girl who plays Hermione in Harry Potter,
Oh, Emma
and
Watson.
people were like waiting for her to like become of legal age because dude.
I remember,
I was but it was getting called out in the media as well. But like at the same time, there was just as much like, oh man, like she's getting hot, and it's like she's not even 15 yet. Like fuck off. I despise that kind of shit too. And whenever I see, there was so many deepfake stuff of her. Absolutely, absolutely. But the when I see stuff like that, I see that in like almost every Japanese anime cartoon that I have watched in some form. So I feel like it's perpetual in that. I don't understand it.
It's odd, man.
I find it off-putting as well, but I try to get past it, even though
it kind of washes over.
I can't. I really can't because it happens so frequently. We were in an intense part of this movie, and they choose to purposefully the director made this choice to put at the climax of this story in this fucking movie, make the camera angle while she's like running for her life to try to save this town from exploding. And they make sure that there's a clear shot of her ass and panties in this scene. It takes you out of the story. It's weird.
I remember that. I don't remember the running shot, but I remember the bike shot. She's on the bike, and then you can see up all the way to Idaho. And I'm like, why? Why is that necessary?
It's just unnecessary.
I think that's just Japan. There's a game that school kids play. A game. I don't know how prevalent it is. I've heard of it, and I've actually seen it being done, just video. People showing it on videos. But so you go up behind one of your schoolmates, you get on your knees, and you've got your hands like this,
you shove it up their ass,
and then you poke them in the bum.
It's called the 1,000 Years of Death. I'm pretty sure it's called the 1,000 Years of Death.
Okay,
we would do that to our friends growing up.
Oh, right, okay.
Shove your fingers.
Actually, no, I'm not going to type that. We'll talk about that after the fucking thing. I have to ask Quentin's permission to talk about that, though. But we'll discuss that after the.
Did it affect it? Did it affect him in any way growing up?
No, it's nothing like that.
That's what I was.
But back to the film here. Yeah, like it infuriated me because I truly believe that if this was like if I was watching this like the first, it's not just the first half hour. It's not the 45 minutes for me. The first hour and 10 minutes, 70 minutes of film is just excruciating. I would keep that last like 35 minutes or whatever it is. I would probably keep most of that the way it is.
Yeah. Same.
Maybe minor tweaks, and then just get rid of the entire first 70 minutes of the movie and start that shit over. Because that's a big problem because you're trying to get the audience invested in the movie. Clearly, it worked for a lot of people. I mean, me and Quentin are probably outsiders in this opinion here.
Facts.
But I just could not get invested in the story or the characters because the characters were done poorly and the story was done
and the romance.
Poorly. And I was like
selling point.
Yeah, and I was blown away when I saw that on Wikipedia that the director himself basically like said it in the nice way, like this is the movie I really wanted to make, like. It's not the final. So, like, this movie made $400 million. If there was like an added 30 or 40 minutes of like background information to set up the body swap instead of just jumping right in there, I think this movie would have made $1 billion, $1 billion, because that would have been a much better movie in my opinion.
There is a Ghibli film called My Neighbor Totoro. It's probably the one I've watched the most because it's a fair bit shorter. It's the first one they did, and it is just it's just a slice of life film. But again, it's because Japan, even in this film, they say about gods, and that's why they go and do the rice wine alcohol, and they put it in the shrine. It's for the gods, and it's sorry for keeping you awake. And in Totoro. He's a spirit god, and he's the big fluffy rabbit-looking thing in one of the Toy Story films, in Toy Story 3, I think. And apparently that's like made over $1.4 billion in like home rentals and all the stuff that isn't box office. And he's like he's basically their Mickey Mouse. So like everyone knows like the Mickey Mouse ears is like the sort of Disney symbol logo thing. And just a little blue background with white drawing of Totoro on it. Totoro. He's their mascot, and he's like made 1.4 billion. If I showed you that film, you'd be going, "What's the fucking plot line?" Because that isn't what essentially. It's about a family that moves to the country.
Is this made by the same guy?
No, this is a completely separate thing.
So it's a separate thing. So this was 1988. Studio Ghibli. Ghibli. Yeah. Well, Ghibli. I wasn't correcting you, mate. But I thought I didn't hear you say studio. But it's just so iconic, and it's got this. But it's like sort of nothing happens in it, really. But there's just a load of magical experiences for these little girls.
So, like this movie.
Yeah, and it's done over like $1.4 billion, like in all that everything else since. And I have watched it so many times. I can just put it on in the background. I can walk into it because nothing's really happening. He's walking in at any time, but it's just so wholesome and charming. And I know it's weird. A 41-year-old guy saying, "I've loved this kids' film." That's just well, obviously, Your Name is sort of a bit more pre-teens, but I just like the animation just drew me in, and the story, the pacing issues you had didn't bother me. I'm not saying they don't exist. I just don't have a problem with it, and I just absolutely love everything else. If there are any flaws, I'm not noticing them because I'm just loving everything else.
I think the animation was probably a huge selling point for this movie. I mean, no one's denying the fact that the animation is gorgeous. I think it's easy for someone to go into a film and say, wow, that was really pretty CGI, or that looked incredible. Like, James, what's his name? Oh my God, James Patterson. No, not James Patterson. Oh my God, James Cameron. Avatar was a gorgeous movie, made $1 billion because of how good it looked. But at the end of the day, it's just a fucking Pocahontas. You know what I mean? It's a story that's been told 1 million times over. Like I think that the animation was top.
It's a bad version of Dances with Wolves.
It is.
I fucking can't, bro. Yeah, I mean, I think that the visuals were just so pretty that maybe that's what drew the audiences in. I can't see someone. I don't know. I mean, to each his own. Bro. I'm not going to shit on something that you love. I'm not going to shit on your opinion because that's yours at the end of the day. I just couldn't fucking get behind it.
No, that's fine. I'm not shit on you. Right? I said I'd come loaded, and all my loaded is just my opinion because I am not. Here's the thing. I
gotta say something though. You're not debating back with me on my points. You're just you keep bringing up a Studio Ghibli films that are so great and their successes. So like the pacing, their romance. Do you feel like that the characters actually had good development before we got to the point of the romance? Like, what about this film really drew you in? Because I keep hearing you talk about how great the animation was, how great the sound was, but I haven't really heard you say what you loved about this film. Its plot. Like, I've yet to hear that. And I want to understand. That's where I'm coming from.
So all this time, they've made each other's lives better. They even say, like, you're more popular when I'm you. Like, that's what Taki says there, like, leaves her a note of saying. She gets him a date with, like, the sort of Jessica Rabbit, this Okadera.
And then it goes terribly because it's not him.
Because it's not him. But then she even realizes that he's thinking about someone else. Like, which that is one nitpick I'll give it, because I was like, how would she know that he's thinking of someone else? But it's when they go to they go on the date, and then it says nostalgia scene or something like that, and he sees the town that he recognizes from what he thinks is his dream or whatever he is at that point. But he just recognizes it, and then he goes to find. He has to know. He has to go to find it, and they are just improving each other's lives so much more. And he becomes so invested in her, and her to him. She goes to see him, and she's like so heartbroken when he doesn't recognize her, but like he keeps like there's just something there that's already because they talk about the threads of time with the braids, which is actually something in the colors on the braids. It's like orange, then it's blue, white, blue, then orange again. And
I did like the reveal of the braids that he had gotten 3 years prior. I like that. I thought that was kind of neat.
It keeps keeps that sort of tie together, and then he gives that back to her when they meet at the Golden Hour, which is
when they meet in the Golden Shower.
Yeah, and which is not something. I was trying to think of a way to say not something to be joked about because I know you too well. I know you damn too well. I just didn't get there in time to stop you. Yeah, and I absolutely love that, and and obviously the thing to remember is like they're sort of 16, 17 here, so it's like young love. It's not like we would experience it now. They've shared each other's lives. You can't get more personal than sharing each other's lives, and having them finally meet up, and the fact that he's gone there for all this to try and save her, and she that trying to going all that way to try and save someone that you've just started to care about. How can you not make it that sort of strong and emotional bond?
Because the character development wasn't there. That's why nothing was there.
But everything, you just talked about, like where they help each other's lives. They just did like a quick cut of that. That was like 2 minutes, and it was like fast forward, like quick cuts of that. I would have liked to have seen like them take their time with that, where they actually, the only one that they kind of took their time with was the date that he went on, that she had set up for him. But other than that, it was just a quick cut of like them helping each other out for 2 minutes. I would have liked if they made like 3 or 4 other scenes where like she has to be him and and it's an awkward situation or something. Yeah. And then she's getting guided through that or whatever, and then flip that around and same thing. But we don't get any of that, and it doesn't make me care about the characters at all. And I'm still. It drives me nuts the way they open this film. This whole film drove me nuts because it's one like the animation is beautiful and stunning. There's no disputing that. But it doesn't matter how good a film looks. You have to have a good story. And I thought but if you don't have a good story, you have a bad story. That's one thing. But the thing that is so infuriating about this, I know there's a good story in here. It just wasn't shown in this film. And when you have this beautiful film, but the good story doesn't end up showing on the screen, it's absolutely infuriating. And it made me want to get hit by the fucking meteor or whatever that thing was. It really did. Like, dude, I'm an hour in this movie, and I'm like, dude, just have this fucking thing hit me. Take me out of my misery. Like, this is awful. But then you get to the last 30 minutes. And it makes you even more mad because you're like, well, this last 30 minutes the first half is pretty good, but the first 70 minutes is shit.
Yeah.
So okay, how is it only a 2 then if the last 30 minutes was pretty good?
Because I can't.
The whole movie,
you're not invested when you hit the last 30 minutes. By the time you hit the last 30 minutes, you don't. I don't care about anybody. I'm waiting for the meteor to hit me because I need to be put out of my misery. If this was shown to me in a theater, I would have walked out after the first 30 or 40 minutes.
Easy.
And I wouldn't have got to the ending. So you have to actually captivate,
you got to
get me invested in the movie for me to give it a higher rating than a 2. And the only reason it's a 2 is because the animation is good. If the animation wasn't visually stunning, I would have given it a 1.
Okay. I'm going to say 2 things here, right? One, the fact that you said you think of being the minority, which, for a Japanese film, it's the second highest grossing Japanese film in box office terms worldwide. It's
Right, but you're still not telling me why this is a good story,
You're just
or
telling us that
or
people
if
like
it's
the film.
how they get to figuring out.
you're just going to
Like,
numbers and
exactly.
studios and
Okay,
things.
no, how they have to figure out exactly what happens. He doesn't realize until he tries to find her, and he's done from his
Yeah, but he
dreams,
doesn't
from his
realize, and
memories.
neither do we. So we're all in the dark in this weird
Right.
fucking.
And we are, and then until they go they go buy
And
some
then
ramen.
by then
And
you
then
don't care because you're not invested in the
I
plot.
cared.
At least when you're watching a movie, you're typically seeing it from a couple different perspectives or one perspective, and you're able to kind of maybe try to draw conclusions. But like when you're trying to figure out what the fuck is even the plot of the movie in the first 60 to 70 minutes, why care? Why care? Why stay
What
and
was
watch
that
the film?
movie with Quentin may know this? Craig might too. But do you remember that Zac Efron movie where he's
17 again.
17 again?
17 again.
This movie,
I actually watched
the
that
beginning of
2 weeks
this
back.
movie was like if I started that movie at an hour in, and that was the first scene where he's
That's a
already
good
in the
point.
body, and we don't know, like we're like, well, what the fuck is going on, and why is he acting so weird? And we were not told it was a body swap because we didn't see the body swap. It would be fucking confusing, and I wouldn't have known it was a body swap film until unless you told me beforehand. First 20 minutes. If I watched the first 20 minutes of this without knowing it was a body swap film, I'd be go, "What the fuck is this?"
Well, she then says she wants to. I hate this town. I hate my life. Next time, bring me back as a handsome boy from Tokyo, which was like I was saying before. They want to get out the rural areas. Yeah.
Well, she could have been
then
referring
she's
to
acting
like I'm.
nothing's wrong.
Well, hold on. She could have been referring to like, "Oh, kill me now and bring me back as a boy and like reincarnated or something."
Not to mention
that's
that.
Yeah, that's what she was saying. She's like she hates her life because like she's getting picked. The people from her class at school. They're like,
Okay, so here begs a
laughing at
bigger
her.
question. So why wouldn't she want to be a Tokyo girl? There was no sign saying that she wanted to be a boy or that she was feeling, that she wanted to gender
because of her
swap.
dad-
Why did
because
she
of her
just
dad-
randomly go and scream that she wants to be a Tokyo boy? Unless there was something where she was like, didn't feel like she was a boy. Go ahead.
Because she had to do the dance, she had to do the braiding, because that's what the women did. And she wasn't feeling it because it was 2016 and she's doing this shit that they were doing, in like 1916. She just wasn't feeling it, but that was her life, living
No,
with her
it
grandma.
wasn't. She was playing basketball, bro. Do you remember? There was the
That's
gender
when she was
swapping
tacky.
thing where
That's when she was tacky. Yeah, when she was tacky. So that wasn't her doing it. That was Tacky doing it.
But why was it showing it in her body with her boobs flapping all about?
Because Tacky was in her body.
So
That's what
Tacky
body
was
swapping
in
is.
her body, then she wouldn't be in Tokyo. She would be playing basketball in her body in her real life.
No, she was.
See?
I'm
Say that
confused.
Okay. So she's playing basketball, correct? Or
At her
technically,
school.
he is playing basketball in her
Body.
school in her body.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like she's doing all the girly shit with the braiding and that. She seems like she's playing basketball, living like a fucking boy would.
Well,
That's because
she's
he's
not.
in her body.
He's
doing
in
that.
her body.
That's what I'm saying.
That. She's not.
Okay, so why couldn't she go and play basketball herself then if she just wanted to go do that?
Because when you see them Tacky and his friends eating lunch, there's a basketball court there. So obviously he's around that. Tacky can play basketball. So when he's in her body and she has to play basketball.
But
at
if she's
school,
complaining about
Tacky's
not
got
being
the
able to
skills.
do all these things and she wants to be in a boy's body, but it clearly shows that she's capable in the sense of at least going and playing basketball or trying to do that kind of. I don't know, bro. Never mind.
Dude, if I body swapped with a girl and you gave me a guitar, I can still play guitar because I know muscle memory. It's muscle memory. Right, so him playing ball.
I
It
understand
ain't
that.
your muscles though. You got to get used to a
What?
whole new body. That's a lot
Yeah.
of bollocks. You got to get
Yep.
used to a whole new body. You're not going to wait and know how to move.
Soreness.
They were doing this 2 and 3 times a week, and they made it sound like it was going on for quite a while. So I'm guessing he's got a bit used to, that.
I love how you said it made
Yeah.
it seem like they had been doing this for quite a while, but it doesn't you don't really know how long this has been going on. Besides the
Right.
thing,
I have no idea how long
Like,
this is
I
going
don't say
on.
definitively, but he says in one of the things. So
there's
we were
too many
doing
things
this
that aren't
2 to 3 times
definitive
a
in
week.
this. Like a lot of this movie is so up to interpretation and just trying to take guesses at things without any clear. This is the way. I like a little bit of mystery and I like being able to figure things out on my own. But this movie was so. It just tried to I don't know. They didn't give you anything to work with to try to come up with theories, if that makes sense.
Some of it. Well, I don't know. They left it just ambiguous. I mean, look at the ending, where it's just that they do leave it open-ended and ambiguous. I'm not saying that's a great thing. Trust me, I would have loved an extra 20 minutes where it just shows them getting together. I was desperately rooting for them when I first watched this. Desperately rooting for them to find each other. And I have two things. I just want to. One of them just popped in my head. The stairs at the very end, where she's at the top, he's at the bottom. That is directly copied from an actual place in Japan, but also the town where she grows up. That was also inspired directly from a town in Japan that looked exactly like it. And I think within the first year, they got 1.8 billion yen, $163 million in their tourism. It got bolstered that much because people just went to see. People love this film, and obviously here I am the minority, but in the general population of people.
Here's my issue with that ending, because I actually think the ending with the stairs. I actually think that could have been done well if they went directly towards each other, but then they passed each other. I'm like, that made me fucking pull my hair out. I'm like, you know what each other looks like.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go
No, they don't, because they were they had forgotten each other.
They forgot each other straight away because they'd actually met each other, and then that moment had gone.
How can you forget each other after you've just been through those experiences?
Remember how they couldn't remember the names? It was whenever they were back in
because they never got to tell each other's names. I thought that was the main theme of the thing.
No, they knew each other's names when they were in each other's body.
Well, how come they're forgetting everything?
Because that's the weird time travel loop shit that they never explained to you. It just happened.
The braids.
There you go. Another thing that's not explained.
A big problem I had with this film. Her friends are very, very fucking trusting.
They've been swapping bodies for what? Years, weeks, months, however the fuck it is.
Don't know.
And then after all that, they don't know each other's names. They don't know much about each other at all.
They forget it magically.
And it's not explained.
Same thing. Her phone was hacked, and all the messages were deleted by this.
Deleted. Exactly. Thank you.
No, that's Craig. I'm not saying that as a good point. I'm saying it's weird that all of the fucking messages are suddenly being deleted by some hacking godly entity.
Yes,
that they never explain either. The technology aspect adds a whole new weirdness to their movie.
People suffer?
Because it's one thing if it's a spiritual thing, but then the spiritual thing starts fucking with the technology and deleting messages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. They don't explain that. She has friends that are willing to trust her that this place is about to get exploded by a comet after she's been weird for months. They should just think that she's going crazy. So then they decide that, hey, I'm going to become a terrorist and go blow up the fucking and the giant power grid. Literally becomes a terrorist, builds a bomb, and then blows up their fucking whole power shit, causing the entire city to lose power just because her friend said that the comet's going to hit us. Sorry, bro. If I'm that friend in that situation and you come to me and say that we need to go create a fucking terrorist act on our own town, I'm not doing that. You can go royally fuck yourself. I will take my chances with the comet. I am not going to trust you blindly. And I love you.
He's looking at the comet, just going, "Oh, hit me! Just hit me."
5 easy things. I bet I could fucking make you do that for a big ass pizza. I fucking bet I could.
You could
blow up an entire power grid for a pizza? Are you mad?
Craig, if I'm starving and on the brink of death, I will not take that pizza to go blow up a power grid.
Pizza and maybe a few extras.
Crazy, bro. You can't even justify that to me that was a fucking smart and sound decision that someone would have made. This guy has a bright future ahead of him. He looks like he's doing well in life. Both him and the other girl. And they're like, you know what? Our friend said that the comet's going to hit us. That no one else in the world is freaking out about except for this one psychopath who's been acting strange for months. Sorry, bro.
And who saves hundreds of lives at the end of the day?
Yeah, they save hundreds of lives on a big-ass leap of faith, bro, that involves time travel that's never thoroughly explained. And fucking, just
Maybe
no.
there's a
Sorry.
Japanese god of memory loss that we don't.
I guess so.
Don't know about.
Japanese god of amnesia and dementia. I don't fucking know, bro.
Ugh.
Dude, it's not the biggest leap of faith that I've seen in
It
films.
is a huge leap of faith.
It's a massive leap.
You
of
got to
faith.
think
It's
for a
not the
leap of
biggest
faith,
one.
bro. It's huge.
But
This is huge. You remember the problem I had with Interstellar's fucking leap of faith? This is astronomical compared to that.
I agree with
quite
Quintano.
ironic using that term for compared to Interstellar. Astronomical.
I think that you like and it's your movie taste. That's why it's such a great thing that we're able to talk about movies. A lot of us like a lot of different shit, and then there's some movies that I absolutely love, like Nosferatu, that Brian will give like a 2 or 3. You know, it's just we all have our preferences.
Hold on, I gave
no,
Nosferatu a 6.
Whatever you gave it, yeah. But like we all have our different tastes. You know, this is up your alley of shit, and for me, I thought it was a fucking shit fired fuck storm of garbage. But hey, that's just me, Craig.
Please
Except for the
post-
visuals and the soundtrack.
Remember, in the comments below, this is my pick. This is a fucking 10 for me. This is a 7.5 on the Meltzer scale for visuals and the soundtrack. And I fucking love this. This is my favorite animated film.
I love that you love this film.
I do. I genuinely do. I'm not doing this as. I know. Here's one thing I want to point out to everyone still watching. Hi, Joe.
Thanks for sticking with us, Joe.
Joe's the man.
These two aren't being. I know these two aren't being. I expected this completely. These two aren't being. Just doing this for irony. Just to all right.
And this is us being nice about it.
Yeah, I'm really. Trust me.
Okay,
all the
this
other
is-
shit that I can't say on this podcast goes in the fucking chat.
Something ending I've ever seen in my life. Okay.
But here's the thing: don't you appreciate the fact that like I know like what I've said about this? Like I know there's a good story in here, but
Yes.
the fact that it was executed poorly is what makes me
What's
despise
what makes it a bad
this
movie.
Yeah.
I appreciate. Here's the difference between me and you with it.
I could say
I got that. I got that. For me, I got that story. It wasn't there for you. It was there for me.
Yeah.
No, I understood the
But you
story.
haven't
It's
defended any of my
just
problems with it.
it doesn't give you any fucking context with like who these people are or why we should care about them or anything like that. It just thrusts you right into the body swapping nonsense.
Okay, let me see if I could sway you here. What would you give Gladiator, Craig, or Lord of the Rings? You give them 10s, right?
Gladiator 9.5, Lord of the Rings 11.
11, exactly. You can sit here and call this film a masterpiece. If me and you were to talk about Lord of the Rings, and let's say Brian was giving us shit, we could defend that with all of our hearts. We could defend every part of the film, from the pacing, the character development. You can't do that with this film because it's not a masterpiece. You can say that you love in terms of what it is.
You could give me a fucking hour and a half breakdown on who Bilbo Baggins is, who Frodo Baggins is, who Gandalf is, Aragorn, even some of the fucking side characters.
We could name
tell me who Taki and what the fuck is her name?
Mitsuha.
Mitsuha. Tell me who they are.
Mitsa tits.
Because all I know about Mitsuha is that she's a rural girl, and all I know about Taki is that he's lives in
boy.
Tokyo. That's all I know.
Right, okay.
And that
here's
I know
rebuttal.
more about the girl because she grew up in a more formal society in the countryside, and her
What's
dad's
your
an
rebuttal?
asshole.
Here's my rebuttal then to that. You're dealing with two high school teenagers. Do you know any high school teenagers that you could just look at them?
You ever
an
see
hour
The
and a half?
Breakfast Club?
Wait, let him finish. Craig, what were you saying?
Yeah, but The Breakfast Club is an isolated, in one room film for the.
No, but
like,
what were you saying about the characters?
Sorry about that.
What were you
Go
saying
ahead.
about the characters, Craig?
they're teenage, like high school teenagers.
Yeah, but what are they about? Like,
there's nothing giving us the story of
what's
who they
their
are.
what's their background?
Okay.
What are they?
What does Taki want to do with his life? Because it's in the film.
Oh, I don't fucking remember, bro. Something to do with business and saving the environment. And you don't learn that until the end of the movie, bro.
Yeah, it was like something. It was something that had to do with like architecture, right? Yeah.
And you don't learn that till the end of the movie.
He's the whole time he's drawing buildings constantly. He's drawing pictures of the town. He's drawing the whole way through the film. He's drawn instantly to the photographs. You do know that about him.
Yes, that's because he's trying to figure out the area of where this dream girl lives, bro. He doesn't decide that he wants to be an architect until later in life is when he talks about it towards the end of the movie.
When he's drawing them in his bedroom, there's a poster on his wall in English that says architect.
Okay. So that's our backstory on him, that he wants to be an architect because there's a picture on his wall that says architect.
He goes to school, he's got a job, he's got these two friends, he's got his two male friends that completely back him up. One of them comes to
what are his friends' names, Craig?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got you there.
My fucking point, Craig.
I don't know anybody's name other than the main two.
Name Frodo's friends' names. Samwise, Pippin, Merry. Like there's nothing, bro.
Dude, there was 12 hours of films.
Bro, I could watch you. I could watch the first
one and know everybody's
in the theatrical
names.
run and know everyone's name and more lore about any one of those characters than you would get in this film. And I don't even want that film to be that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to prove a point.
I only know the names of the main two characters, and I hardly know anything about either one of them.
Dad is a mayor. The mom, I don't even know if we saw her in the film.
She dies.
Yeah, well, that was that flashback sequence. But the thing about that flashback sequence was, I wish we had hints of that stuff earlier in the movie to set up like how we should feel about these characters. Instead, it was just it was like, here, watch this highlight reel.
Yeah.
Then again, I gave The Mummy a 9 because of how much I love that film. But like, if you look at it from a critical point of view, it would be like, I don't know, a 7, 5, 6, 7 in that category. Okay. But I gave that movie a 9 or a 10.
Okay, I will throw this back to you because I like The Mummy as much as you guys did. Okay, so it was Rick O'Connor, and I'm being genuine right now. There was Benny.
Yep.
I can't remember, genuinely, off the top of my head right now, I can't remember Rachel Weisz's character name.
Elizabeth.
Is it Elizabeth? Okay. Is James her brother?
James, yep. Jonathan.
The mummy's name is like Sutep or something, isn't it?
The movie is what?
Okay, I can remember.
Emotep.
Emotep, that's it.
Yeah.
Emotep. Yeah, but I can't remember anyone else's names. I can't remember the names of the American guys who were
You still just named more characters in the Mummy movie that you didn't rate a 10 than you have in this movie.
No,
that's true. Name more.
Okadera, Taki, Mitsuha, Grandma, who's just grandma.
Who's Grandma?
Yeah,
is that her name?
That's what
she's probably my favorite character in this film. Truthfully,
she's
Grandma.
I actually was just about to say that. I wanted to see her more than anybody.
Literally, give me the Grandma's story, and I needed
her to convince me not to let the meteor hit me in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I like. Do you know what? That's one scene I really love when it sort of becomes apparent that this is something that runs in a family. Through all the females, that the grandma had it, the mum had it as well. You don't get the backstory of.
It's like syphilis; it just travels on. Go ahead.
I don't think syphilis does that, unless comes
in contact. Yes, it does.
Contact.
Sorry, you just had to work it in there. Someone's got to
Oh
hit
my
us with the
God.
Mel Gibson soon enough.
No, I was just going to say.
I was just thinking about it because I was
I
forgetting
was
that we
thinking
could do
Signs.
that.
I was thinking Contact was Mel Gibson in that. No, it's in Signs. Oh God, Mel Gibson.
Does he ever kill any Japanese?
I'll tell you one thing.
Yes, Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge.
Yes.
Okay, so
yeah, but
let's
that's
name
directing.
him the Comet.
That's
He can just
directing
be
now.
called the Comet.
Yes. Mel the Comet.
Mel Gibson, the Mel Gibson Comet. Yes, there we go.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm being dead serious when I say this. If Mel Gibson made this movie, it would have been way better.
Ooh, yeah.
Way better.
100%. He might have been killing some Englishmen, though. The continent might have been entirely different.
He's okay. So here's your Mel Gibson plot line. So he goes to Japan back in what is it, like the 1850s, and he's literally going there just to tell
As
them
a Christian?
just to tell them that the English are coming to take over the whole country, and they have to defend all of Japan. He has to help. He's the white savior helping defend the Japanese from the
Holy
English.
shit. I would watch
You know-
that, and I'd give it a 10. Just to shame this
Don't
movie.
tell me, Craig. You were about to say something. Were you about to say like, "Hey, I actually want to see that movie"?
No,
I'd
no.
watch it, bro. It's Mel
It was
Gibson.
reminding me of oh fuck! What was the TV show called?
Because that's
Shogun?
a terrible idea, by the way.
Shogun.
Shogun.
Yeah, because it was about the.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be like
Protestants and
Portuguese,
Catholics.
right?
Yeah, but it's Protestants and Catholics, and
Solid
the
8,
fact that
Tom.
like
Well, the one
Oh,
guy
okay.
is English, isn't he? I haven't
Oh,
watched
wait.
it, but it's
The birth.
isn't it one of the guys from Britain? I don't know.
yeah, the main guy, Richard Jonathan Blackthorne, or Jonathan
guy-
Blackthorne. He's called.
The guy who talks like he has something in his throat.
Yeah,
What?
he talks like he talks like he should be in a Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah. He would
this
be
movie?
perfect. He would be perfect. That's a great casting, Craig. He would be perfect in a Guy Ritchie film. He definitely
he
would.
would.
He's got the voice for it.
Do you know what his real name is? Like his guy's first name?
The actor?
Cosmo. Yeah, Cosmo.
Cosmo.
Like Wanda and Cosmo?
Cosmo and Dibs if you're from the UK. Cosmo, yeah. His first name is it's like
That's
Jesus
wild.
Christ.
That's a wild name.
That is right. I guarantee his actors. Sorry, his parents are actors. For him to call them something like that.
Oh, definitely. To have a weird name like that, or they're just
Like
crazy.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Both of his parents are actors. Like no
Well,
shit.
I mean, that's a name. You inherit the last name, but like the first name is
Benedict. Yeah, Benedict.
Benedict. That's kind of a that. I bet
Benedict
I bet Benedict is a normal name in like 100 years ago.
Well, what is
Maybe
Benedict
probably.
Cumberbatch? Is he English?
Yeah. Oh,
Benedict-
fuck yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's English as fuck.
Yeah. Doctor Strange.
The only good thing about
He's
Desolation
also
of Smog.
awesome. I'm a big Cumberbatch fan. I like him.
No, I'm a big come on the back fan too, dude.
I've got all the time. Oh my god. All the fucking lines I've ever said, but that's the one that makes you spit out water. Oi, they. Do you know what? He is corpsing up. Like, the reason why he hasn't sat up yet, he is fucking dying still.
He took a sip of water and I hit him with the cum on the
Yo,
back. and he
shut
sprayed
up!
it.
Shut the fuck
You know,
up! I'm taking the
do you know what it
headphones
is,
off.
Brian?
The headphones
Right, do you know
are
what,
off.
Brian?
I'm done.
You want to
The
fucking
headphones are
clip
off.
that? That is the best Triple H impression I've ever seen. Take a drink of water and just
That was
spit it
perfect
out.
timing, bro. That was perfect timing.
Oh,
I bet he got that all over his.
I didn't
little
strike
PC.
Brian as a spitter.
I just, well.
We just killed him. I'm surprised that's what got him.
Oh, yeah. It's every time I say something, it makes him laugh. It's always like, really? Is that what was that one we had the other week? Because I said it off camera. When we talked about the Dark Ages, and I said, the slightly dim ages, and he just like, it took him a second to get it, and then he just cracked up. Not like that. He fucking lost it there. Look at him, fucking Muppet.
oh,
Oh my goodness.
dude! I was not ready for that.
Quentin, round of applause for you.
Dude, I'm so.
Thank you,
You
sir.
said a fucking big cum on your back, man. Yeah. I'm oh, dude.
Here's the thing. If I said that, Brian would just be like staring at me and like writing a timestamp.
No, he would love it. He would love
No.
that.
He would.
No. Definitely.
It's your inner enigmatic charm that
Thanks,
brings
sweetie.
these things out of him.
You're so sweet to me.
Oh yeah.
Did you like soak your desk with water spit?
No, I managed to turn at the.
That's perfect.
Because if I did this, like something might explode in front of
Explode,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I got a lot of
like
fucking
a
equipment
camera.
over
So do we
here. Yeah,
have
the
any...
camera's right here, so like I just missed the camera too. But this camera actually can the water.
Waterproof.
It's not necessarily waterproof, but water won't do much to it.
Todd,
unless you
if you had to give
like
this movie a
unless you
1 out of
dunk
10,
it
what
the
would
whole
you have
thing in the
given it?
water. You know, if it gets like a little bit wet, it's fine.
So no taking home videos of the.
It's also got a lens, like the
Okay.
lens in this is like well
So-
protected, so it's not
Okay.
I just asked Todd
Tom-
what his review was. He gave it a 6.2
underage upskirts.
6.2 underage upskirts. So you
It's the
have
second
one.
best-
I mean, it's higher than ours,
Second
but
best review that we've got.
It's
on
higher
this.
than ours. You do have a positive outlook on this movie, Craig. So
Yeah.
that is good. You are not alone, my friend.
Tell him from a British person. Thank fuck you're here, Todd.
Proper British person says "thank fuck something something," and I couldn't understand him because he's British.
You're here. You're here.
thank
Or
fuck you're
there.
here.
Thank fuck
you're
you're here. He said, Todd.
Thank fuck you were there. Thank fuck you were there to.
Oh,
I
dude.
didn't hear that.
Good call.
That was gold.
Fan. I fucking.
Right. Okay.
Oh,
well,
that's the hardest I've
expected-
laughed in one of these so far.
Oh god. Do you
All
know,
right.
here's the weird thing that exactly reminded me of that outtake from the American Office, where they were talking about comebacks and people who had comebacks. He said, "What about Kim Kardashian?" I was like,
Oh
and this
no, that was Parks and
Chris-
Recreation.
Parks and Recreation.
Pratt.
Thank you. Sorry, yeah.
Chris Pratt.
And everyone's sort
That
of like,
was a blooper, if
he's
I'm not mistaken.
improvising, and everyone
Yeah.
sort of looks at him, and they know he's improvising. He said, "Well, I saw a video with Come On Her Back," and then
Yeah.
everyone cracks up.
Chris
I actually
Pratt,
really
yeah.
like Parks and Recreation.
I never watched it because I was a big Office fan,
I
and
think
everyone
that's
told me
better
to
than
watch
the
Parks and
American
Rec.
Office. I think that's better
Ooh.
than the American Office.
That's a hot
I
take
do.
for
opinion,
sure.
though.
I
Parks
do.
I think they're
Recreation,
both
oh.
loved, but like I watched The Office and then tried to watch Parks and Rec, and it was just like for me, it just didn't work.
It's Greg Davies. I
I'm not
think.
like a super fan of either
Right.
one though. Like it's I don't know.
The same.
I was
shit
a
dates-
dude. I was a 2.5 Men guy. Am I the only one who like?
No, I like 2.5 Men.
because it was basically Charlie Sheen playing himself.
Yeah, that's
Which
my
is
favorite
fucking
porno.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
He was
But,
so
no.
goddamn funny in that.
Only problem I had with Parks and Rec was like, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw it, bunch of years back, I was like, really, you expect me to believe Amy Poehler back then had problems getting a date? Considering, you know, like,
Yeah.
she was definitely early on, she was desperate for getting. Like, you expect me to believe that? And
I just like
Rashida Jones.
watching the. I just like watching the show, knowing that Charlie Sheen is on every drug in existence throughout filming it. Like that's a fun part of it because he's still alive. But like if I watch Friends, I get sad because of Chandler. You know what I mean?
Well,
The fact that
he was
Charlie
drunk all the
Sheen is
time.
still rocking, running around with his HIV, and like just a fucking psychopath
blood,
of an
man.
individual. Tiger blood.
Hello,
Yeah.
winning.
Winning.
by winning.
Did you guys ever see that interview with Charlie Sheen where
it's-
Yeah,
with
by-
the
It's
by
one of the
drugs in the
greatest
house?
things I've ever
Find
seen.
them, then you better find them and give them to me. Charlie, do you think that there's any drugs in your house? I don't know, but you better find them and give them to me. It's the craziest shit.
He's literally,
Well,
dude. Charlie Sheen in real life is Shooter McGavin. That's
He's
what. That's who
crazy.
he is. It's like he'd
I
ask
know
him a
that
question.
name.
What? I'm sorry, I can't understand you.
He's-
You know
he's
why?
from- he's
I was
from,
too busy winning.
Oh, Shooter McGavin from fucking
Adam
Happy
Sandler.
Gilmore. Yes,
Yeah.
He's actually
he's
he's real life
shit
Shooter
for
McGavin.
that's actually fantastic.
You know, whenever like this is gonna be really weird. Like, obviously, that's immediately what Brian thinks of. That actor, whenever I see him, me and my sister, we taped Grease 2 off TV when it got aired here, because that's from like
Which actor?
1981. The guy who plays Shooter McGavin.
Okay.
What's his name?
So he's in.
I can't remember his name, dude. Fuck.
Something Matt.
I kind of feel embarrassed about that.
I think it's
Christopher McDonald.
McDonald, yeah. Right. He was in Grease 2, which in Grease 2
Did he play Craterface?
No. It's called Goose.
I actually lost my virginity watching that film, which is fucking hysterical.
What, Grease 2?
Grease, yeah.
Oh, what, Grease 1?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he was on Grease 2. With
Grease 2.
Michelle Pfeiffer's on that, and I feel really bad because even now I'm like, wow. And Michelle Pfeiffer was like 19 or something. I think this was like pre-Scarface, so she's really young. But young Craig liked Michelle Pfeiffer very much. And then
that's good.
Batman 2 came out.
That's good because you just gave away what my pick for next week is.
Is it Batman 2?
It's Batman 2. I got.
We
we got to do it. We got to do it. We have to do it.
Okay. Don't fucking spoil a damn thing for me, Craig. Don't you fucking do it.
Oh, you haven't seen this?
No, you spoiled something about penguins, and thank God I think I forgot it. So.
Oh no, we to be fair, me and Brian both did.
There was something exactly with a lot of penguins.
I actually think I agree with Craig on this. I think I had a part in it as well.
So Batman 2 for next week. What year?
It was because me and Craig got so excited talking about that.
It's 92.
No, it's 92, I believe.
92.
It's 91 or 92. I think 92 though.
You know what?
Yeah.
Who's in it? You know, he plays quite a big character, and he talks like this, but better.
That's actually not too shabby. I gotta work on trying to do.
Is this so? This is Batman Returns.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Danny DeVito as the Penguin. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This will be fucking fun. I'm excited for this. Actually.
Honestly, I thought we were going to say this for. No, I actually can't even say that.
No, I've been actually wanting this for a while since we watched the first one because that first one was so much fun to review.
The first Batman movie was our second review after Gladiator 2.
Yep,
it was. So, and I know Quentin's been itching to get to this one. I've been itching to do it because I think it would be so much fun to review this one.
The problem here is I've got a massive soft spot for this, and it's not just Michelle Pfeiffer. I've got a massive soft spot for this film.
Well, if it was for Michelle Pfeiffer, you would have a massive hard spot for this film. Is where I was going with that.
Yeah. I've got a lot. I'm a big guy.
Quentin might at the end of it because she's walking around in a fucking tight latex outfit.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll bump up the movie by a few points just for her. Even though personally I am a Halle Berry Catwoman, that is like the dream girl growing up for me was Halle Berry's Catwoman. Oh yeah, out of sheer sheer sexiness. Oh my god, yeah. Are you kidding me?
What was she called? Precious or what was her name on that?
I don't know. I didn't really spend a whole lot of time getting to know her name.
Listening to it.
I don't know. Halle Berry. When I think of Halle Berry, I think of Monsters Ball.
Is that the one where she gets boned by Billy Bob Thornton?
Yes, and then the one
and
that too. That's a good. Yeah, I forgot about that. But then I just remember her that one scene where she's coming out of the water and Die Another Day.
Isn't she in a Bond movie? Yeah, that.
Yeah,
I've seen that clip, and I was like, "What the fuck? Halle Berry's in a Bond movie." We got to get back to some old Bond movies too. That'll be fun. Maybe I'll pick that for mine in an upcoming video.
I'll tell you what.
I want to see more. I want to see more of Pierce Brosnan's. Very much so. I don't think I've seen the one Golden Finger or Golden Hole or Golden Shower, whatever it's called.
Goldfinger is the only other one with gold in it, and that's Sean Connery. That's considered like the staple Bond movie.
Is it Golden Eye? Is the one? Is Golden Eye? Or is that just the
Golden
video?
Eye is the one we watched.
The one we watched. Yeah. The N64. One of the best computer games ever.
Golden Eye.
We watched Doctor No. We watched Golden Eye. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
And now we're going to watch.
But if you want to watch another Pierce Brosnan one, there's no objection from me, sir. He's my favorite.
Heard that. I'm game.
I literally think he was the only James Bond maybe Roger Moore, but he might have been the only actor that played James Bond that genuinely had a blast doing it.
Daniel Craig
I
talked
really
shit, hasn't he?
that.
Yeah.
He like at the end of shooting because he's like, dude, I love his portrayal of James Bond.
Same.
But I feel like because of he's the one who like out of all of them did more scenes himself the most, like action sequences. So he's had injuries. He got beaten up on these shoots, and by the end of it, he was probably like, fuck this. And then he gets the returns and goes,
older,
"Oh, this
bro.
is nice."
Yeah.
So
older
by
in
the
these
end,
games.
he was an old man. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
he gets the returns, and then Rachel Weisz goes, "You should do another one."
Yeah.
Here's the thing, because like Tom Cruise, like I'm
And
kind of
she
reading
loves.
up on
I
it.
saw her on Graham Norton say that she loves to brag that her husband is James Bond. So,
oh, you would though,
which I think is awesome. I think is awesome. Who wouldn't? Yeah, who wouldn't? Exactly.
Pierce
Yeah,
Brosnan,
exactly.
I want to say it was last week or something, but he was on some red carpet for something, and a reporter had asked him, they were like, "Would you consider coming back as Bond?" And he goes, "I've always got one left in me," or something like that. Yeah, I'd
There
watch it.
is a major part of
older
me that
Bond.
would just like to see a one-off with Pierce Brosnan as an older Bond.
That'd be pretty sick.
I might be in the minority on this, but I think it would be fucking awesome.
As long as they
As long as it's done
Indiana
good.
Jones it. As long as they don't Indiana Jones it.
Yeah, and
Dial
they
adjusting.
they don't make him like James Bond in his prime where he's whipping everybody's ass. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's got to be some like it's got to be some like no, keep him old. Just make him like he has to come
Gun
back
heavy.
for like
Yeah, it's
one
gotta be- it's
last
gotta be
job or
realistic.
something, or he gets like pulled in somehow, and then he's he it's like throughout the story he realizes he's not the same guy, but he has to try to do these things
Still
yet
do his
again.
shit.
And what I like to see him like failing throughout the movie, and then finally like towards the end he gets
Dialing back
something,
in.
something right, something along those lines. Very generalized fucking plot
Script
line there,
idea.
but yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. No, I'd
Well-
be down for that.
I think it would be awesome.
How old was Roger Moore?
And
when
he's
he was,
still,
like,
dude,
back
he's like 70 years old, and he's still like one of the.
And he's
like
down.
the best looking 70-year-old man in the world, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot you want to fuck Pierce Brosnan.
I would.
He's a good
I
looking
would.
dude.
I would.
If you had to, it'd be.
If it was anybody, it would be him.
Yeah. If you had to do it.
Yeah, it was 2 months ago.
And why would anybody make fun of me for it? Hey, that guy over there, fuck James Bond.
Yeah.
They'd be like, awesome.
Hello, Miss Moneypenny.
That's what he says. Here's
Just
the clip.
It's like, hello, Mr. Brosnan.
That's the one of
Hello, Miss
Brosnan.
Moneypenny.
Sean Connery's dead, right? Yeah.
Yes. God, he died.
Pierce
a rich
Brosnan,
man.
seeing this, Pierce Brosnan, but even though how old he is now, but with a beard. I think he looks,
Yeah.
he has like a.
He's a stud, bro.
I really want to check out that show he's got with Tom Hardy and Helen Mirren.
You know what's
Mobland.
weird? He kind of looks like.
You haven't heard about
I
that,
don't-
Craig? He's got it's Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, and Helen Mirren. Mobland. It's on Paramount.
Oh, fucking check
It's the
that
same.
out.
It's the same subscription service that does all the Yellowstone
South Park.
shows.
All right, yeah. Well,
They got
yeah,
they got South Park too. Yes.
Yeah. What was it? $500 million, I think.
Pierce
South Park.
Brosnan looks like your dad, Brian. Actually, he
He does.
kind of does a little bit.
In this
That's
video,
crazy.
he looked like your dad. That's hysterical, bro.
That's kind of crazy. Well, actually,
should just-
the one thing that we have in common, that him and my father have in common, is blood-wise,
Don't
they're Irish.
Americans.
What? That his
I was
ancestors
considered-
came from Ireland? Sorry, Mr. Britt.
Yeah.
You're not
Are
you're
you
not
German?
included in his
Sorry, but-
bloodline. Sorry.
They must be brothers. Hardy, father's
I didn't say he is Irish. I said his bloodline is Irish.
I know, mate. Come on. You know what we're really like.
No, you are
After all
just
these
mad
years-
that nobody ever wanted to mention their English ancestry ever again because they fought a revolution.
What's my
to
English
get
answer?
rid of that. So
Did we
if
end
you're
the
if you're a
podcast
farmer
before
in
we get into this?
1790, if you're a farmer in 1795, do you think that farmer is going to walk around and be like, "Hey, what's your background?" "Oh, it's British." No, they're not going to say that shit.
Mine would have, mate, it would be Latvian and Estonian.
Right.
All my relatives come back to Baltic. Like, that's why I'm a fucking giant in England.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well, then why'd you get? Why are you so upset about it? Him being Irish?
No,
I don't know.
just said
This
it
is
was-
an off the podcast conversation.
One, you're American, and two, as soon as you said the one thing him and my dad had in common, I was like, no, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. Oh, no.
Or is it because you're upset that he's Pierce Brosnan's bloodline is Irish and not English? Because in fact,
Pierce
he
Brosnan
ended up
is
playing
a
James
god,
Bond.
No,
bro.
the Irish.
I would be if I was English. I would be more upset about that.
No, the Irish hate. Oh, what, because he's James Bond? No, was Sean Connery Scottish? He's Scottish. The Irish hate us. Everyone hates the Brit, like the English.
Oh, the
I
Irish
love you.
definitely do. Yes.
Say what?
I have no problems with the English. I love the English.
No, everyone.
I don't ever
everyone
think I've
around
heard
us-
anyone talk poorly about the English when growing up in the United States.
Talk to somebody who's Irish.
Well, Scottish,
What?
Irish, Northern Irish. They fucking.
Get your-
Talk to anybody else on that fucking island that isn't part of England.
Any one of them.
So everyone,
They fucking hate us. Rightly so. Fucking centuries, millennia of us being absolute twats.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's the big thing over
there's
there.
still a
They
bit of
all
a-
hate
still
the
a bit of a
English.
touchy subject.
However, when an outsider's involved, they all band together.
Oh yeah. But
Yeah.
it's a bit like family. It's like I can call my sister a dickhead. You call my sister a dickhead. We're
Right.
fucking going outside. Same as your friends. I can call you two dickhead. You two come over here and someone calls you a dickhead. Me and them are going to have problems. But if we call each other dickheads, it's like, well, yeah.
yeah, we call each
Yeah.
other some of the most vile names in existence, and that's,
Yeah, and
that's
what
because
happens
we're
then?
friends that it's
The other-
acceptable.
The other person laughs. So one of us says that to each other, the other person laughs. That is how it goes. It's just like a sort of big extended family. So yeah, that is the British Isles in a nutshell. But yeah,
The only
but
I'm interrupting
the only-
you. I apologize.
no,
Go ahead.
no, I wasn't good.
I was just going to say the only term that I actually had a problem with growing up is like when people would be like, "You're a redneck because you live in Florida." I always fucking hated that term.
I thought it was redneck. I always think Alabama. If I think redneck. Alabama,
Well, that's yeah,
maybe Texas, like Texan redneck. You hear that, but
yeah.
you know, but that's more wrestling than anything else. Like the amount of
It's like
places I
more
know
of
in
like a
America
hick or
because of
like
wrestling.
I don't even know what a hick means. I hope that's not offensive, but like more like white trash is what I always associated the term redneck with. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
I don't know if
they
you
kind
guys
of,
have
kind
the
of
same
thing.
viewpoint there.
From what
Welsh?
I've gathered,
Jesus Christ.
What happened?
Nothing.
I heard you say Welsh, and then Jesus. Okay, Jesus wasn't Welsh.
What happened? I need to know because I'm putting this video out.
I know. Okay, so in the background, I said white trash, and then Todd in the background goes, "Yeah, the Welsh."
Oh, the Welsh. Ooh.
Is that
What?
iffy? We might need to cut that part.
Okay. Is it iffy? No shit, it's iffy. But like I said, my heritage is Baltic. My mum's.
You
parents were
officially
Latvian,
got your
Estonian.
first cut out of the channel, Todd.
Yeah.
My
But do you
mum
know why
was,
that's important to
my-
people in America, though? Like the background, like where they came from, because like we're a nation
You
of
haven't got-
immigrants. We all
you
came
haven't
from
got
somewhere
any
else.
identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
You've not got any sort of like true.
Right.
national-
Whereas
I'm a fucking
whereas in
nut to
England,
the
everybody
modesty, bro.
everybody sprouted from there. You know, it's not the same.
No, a lot of it was.
I need to
French,
take one
no
of those
back-
fucking tests to see like
Well,
what
I
my
mean,
shit
you
is.
know what I mean, though. It's
I know.
it's
I
much
get it.
different.
Oh wait, Todd is
No.
Irish and Welsh, so that's safe to keep in because he can say
But-
that.
But
Okay.
you are right, like the Normans and the Saxons coming in.
Anglo-Saxons, like,
yeah.
Right, but I want to quickly say something. My mum's Welsh, so whoever said that, go fuck yourself because you're born in
He is Welsh.
but-
I just learned that he's Irish and Welsh, so I think it's acceptable
so-
for him
right,
to say
it's-
Oh,
that.
so he's
Mum-
calling himself white
Mum-
trash.
His mum
The
was
what?
that. His Irish was Welsh. Were his grandparents Welsh, or was it like 15
Wait, so who's
generations
Welsh
back?
on your
How many generations?
grandma's Welsh?
We need to know because otherwise I'm going to have to make an apology to Wales because I'm very fond of the
love
Welsh. Yes,
Grandma
I'm
is
very
grandma
fond
is
of them.
Welsh. Grandma is Welsh.
Okay, do you know
Okay.
what?
We're debating
not gonna be upset
whether or
about
not
that
we can
because
keep it
that's-
in based on lineage.
But what does every Welsh get for his 12th birthday?
What does every Welsh get for his 12th birthday? What?
A sheep.
Double wide boots and Velcro gloves.
Pair of double.
Okay, yeah, it's a sheep shagging.
He got it. He got it.
And you know what? I think the Welsh would have appreciated that because the Welsh
Okay.
they know all these jokes.
Appreciated that.
Quentin, ask him what does an owler do?
He wants Todd's asking you, what does an owl do?
Owler.
Oh, an owler. What does an owler do? I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's a Welsh term.
I think Todd is thinking.
I don't think he speaks Welsh though.
It's a sheep herder.
It's a sheep herder?
Sheep herd.
I don't get it.
Or commonly known in Britain as a sex trafficker.
Sheep herder.
Oh, a sex trafficker. Oh.
Oh no, but they legitimately they're sheep herders. They move sheep. But
We love all Welsh people. I just want to say that loud and clear.
Wales, I got your back. Fuck these two guys. I got your back. Okay.
oh, excuse me, I'm
Sorry, I didn't. I should have said the one on the far right here.
No. Blame it on the guy that's
the
not
far
seen.
right.
He's fucking
Okay.
said it all. I don't need death threats from Welsh
Careful
people.
what you say.
What directionally, not politically? You fucking maniac.
I'm not the one who fucking said it.
Yeah, I said
Yeah,
on the
I did.
far right.
Yeah, you said on the far right. I was like, careful. No, yeah, it was on my mum's side of the family, Welsh is far.
What if it was far left? Would you have the same reaction? Would you go?
Who's got? Where's the blue dye hair? Like,
Okay, thank you.
tattoos like mine. You know.
I'm just making sure because neither of those are acceptable to me.
No, either if you're either end of the spectrum, bring it in.
I'm like Benjamin Franklin said in the HBO's John Adams. I'm in favor of compromise and
You guys-
actual dialogue and
Yes.
Did you guys ever hear about all
Moderation.
the bodies that were found in Benjamin Franklin's house that dated back to the time
Yes.
that he was living there?
yes,
What a
that was
fucking
crazy.
wild piece of history that has come out.
That is crazy, and that was in England
I'll tell you
too.
about it after. It's fucking crazy. Craig, do you not
That was
know
in
about
London,
this?
wasn't it? Craig, do you know about this? So,
go
I
ahead.
think
I know he was in London for a spell, but
he was in London for
vaguely
several
remember.
years. But he rented out a house in London, and when they did some digging in, I think, the basement of that house.
I have it pulled up if you want me to read it off.
Okay,
real
go
quick.
ahead. Yeah, because
Yeah,
this.
Why were
this
there
is
so many
me trying to
skeletons
remember.
hidden in Benjamin Franklin's basement? During the restorations in the 1990s, more than 1,200 pieces of bone surfaced beneath the Founding Fathers' London home. For nearly 2 decades leading up to the signing of the Declaration of Independence, Benjamin Franklin was a barter in a house at 36 Craven Street in London. Future founding father left his English home and returned to America in 1775. 2 centuries later, bones from more than a dozen bodies were found in the basement, where they had been buried in a mysterious windowless room beneath the garden. Skeletons had gone unnoticed till the late 1990s when historians decided to turn Franklin's old haunt into a museum. Conservationists were carefully repairing the structure when they stumbled upon a human bone from 1 meter wide to 1 meter deep pit. Over 1,200 pieces of bone were retrieved, according to the Benjamin Franklin house. They belonged to at least 15 people, to who were all children. The team called the coroner, but forensic investigations suggested that the bones were quite old. In fact, they had likely been buried in the home for some odd 200 years ago, around the time that Franklin resided in it. So there's some ongoing theories that I've heard that they were like cadaver kind of bodies, where certain experiments were conducted by some of Benjamin Franklin's working people, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But it's still terrifying that there's 15 children bodies remains were found. That's kind of insane. Go ahead, Brett.
He pulled a Gangs of New York. Do you remember that scene in Gangs of New York where the dead body ends up on the boat and they're
Yes.
like, oh shit, and they're like, get rid of it, and then Leo's like, no, keep it. And they're like, what for? And then he sells it to somebody.
I've seen it. I don't remember that bit.
He was
I've
probably
seen it.
shipping that thing off to Benjamin fucking Franklin. Well, it's not the
Most
same
likely,
time period.
bro.
Oh, no,
You know what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
But-
a little interesting piece of
probably
dark
what
history that some theories could come from.
Well, if,
But-
you think, like, if you're thinking about England in the late 1700s, 1800s, there would have been a lot of child mortality. It just would have been. So it doesn't.
Dude,
I mean, obviously-
London in the mid to late 1800s would have been a fucking sight to see.
If they
I
were
imagine-
women bodies, do you think
I
they would be
imagine no, but
saying he
like
was Jack
just
the
to
Ripper?
see it, I imagine
Was
it
that
being
the-
like so fucking dirty, but yet like so like a place you have to go to during that
Like
time.
New Orleans?
You know what I mean?
Like New Orleans nowadays?
Yeah, but it's not the same. London is massive, and it was massive even then. So
Fair.
it's like maybe not like
And
height wise with the buildings, but like spread
Stupidly-
out. It's so spread out.
I would really like to
Super
go to
populated
London.
as well.
I flew into
Yeah.
London, I think, but oh no, we flew into Paris. Never mind. But that would actually be a nice little trip, just to get fucked up.
Oh no, not to get fucked up. It would cost you a fucking fortune.
Really?
Even if you were house drinking, yeah,
If me and him went to London, guess what, Craig? we're getting you
you're the
a
same prices.
train ticket or something to get down there.
Yeah, there's no
Oh,
shot
yeah.
of us going up
Because
there.
we
not
we
seeing
know you have never been there.
Ooh,
Yeah, I know.
good to know.
But what about fucking? Right, we'll wrap this up super quick after this because we are. This is like after this is what we talk.
This
like,
is the
what
part of
we
the
talk,
banter
like,
where
post-
Joe is just still watching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what we do.
Joe,
when
we love you.
have Gordon.
Love you, Joe. Thank you for the constant
Absolutely.
support and erections that you give me. I mean, thank you for your support.
Oh, okay. Well, do you want to wrap this up then? Because we're kind of done talking about this.
Yeah, all I was
movie.
gonna say was like one of my old guitar pupils. He came over. He lives in Australia now, and he booked the tickets like 12 weeks in advance to get back from up here to London, and it cost him 20 quid. 20 bucks.
That's it?
So $25 from northeast of England to London. It's,
On
Wow.
train?
On train, yeah.
Wow.
Because
So we
booked
just
it,
fly into
like,
London and then take a train up to you
Then
then,
I'll just
or just bring you to
you-
London.
do that, or I just come. Well, no, you guys have got to come up here because Brian has to, but you have to as well by default. York, because York, it's very popular.
I'm picking
right?
you. We're going to York, and then I'm picking you up, and we're taking a trip through the Scottish countryside.
I'll come down.
Scottish countryside.
No, well, then
would
we're
be
going
fucking
up
nuts.
to
You want to
Scotland.
go? All right, okay.
Scotland
well,
would be sick.
I'm sorry that. No, it's very common in my town.
I'm bringing a suit of armor with me.
Darlington. You bring
A
what?
suit of armor.
Suit of armor.
It's what do you think? It's Dungeons and Dragons over there. You muppet.
No, I just want to walk around in Scotland or approach a castle in full suit and armor.
Dude,
And then I'll
you-
have you Greg
you
dressed
will
up
make-
as my little sex dragon.
Dude, you will get thrown
Dude,
out
you
of the
will get-
country so fast.
No, he won't. You will get put in hospital. You will get the shit kicked out of you in Scotland for pulling that shit. The Scottish people
I'll
think,
bring-
fuck around.
No.
I'll
mate.
bring Mel Gibson with me and everything will be okay.
No, oh, no. We see Braveheart, you stupid fucking bastard.
He found the way to get it in. All right.
Wait, Mel Gibson, you fucking twat. They fucking-
We gotta wrap this shit up.
We gotta wrap that up, man.
But
All right,
yeah,
so we got
Super
Batman
Cheap,
next
yeah,
week,
Super
Batman
Cheap.
2,
I
Batman
want to say
Returns,
Super
yes.
For us to go to
Batman
York
Returns.
on a day trip drinking. We from here will go to York. Like it's super common in this town to do that because it's like the next big station down. So it's getting to York is super no problem here. Anyway, yes, Batman Returns next week. Michelle Pfeiffer, Danny DeVito, Michael Keaton as the titular Batman, and a bit of Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken?
Christopher Walken.
He's in this movie, yes.
Ooh, what the fuck? Okay, cool beans. Batman,
Yeah,
I have come to kill you.
Is he Dracula?
Why?
Is he Russian?
Why? I can't do a good Walken accent, bro, for the life
Transylvania.
of me.
You almost had it, but then it turned to Russian.
Hello, everybody.
Comrade.
I'm Transylvanian. Ah.
Oh.
Dude, I know you think you're doing a different accent. That's the same accent.
No, that's Transylvanian that time, bro.
Right. Okay, awesome.
Don't
Right, so
talk
guys,
to
this time next week, like we said, we'll be doing a hiatus for a week coming up. But
No, not this week.
next-
Not this
next
week,
not
like
this
in the
week,
distant
but
future.
coming up in it
What the
shortly.
fuck,
We'll let them know the week before.
we will let you know
Yeah,
as and
yeah.
when it's going to happen. But we will be back with Batman Returns and
see
one
you
of the best looking Batmobiles ever.
We'll see you next week for Batman Returns. Peace out.
Later, y'all.